You're watching Buzz with Jess Lujan.
We're back with Senators Tina Barnes and Aline Yamashita. Of course, we're talking Proposal 14A, which was Bill 215, the crafters of the bill, the author and co-author of the medicinal use of marijuana. So it's passed. Certification is going to be coming, I think, on the 20th, right?
By the 20th.
By the 20th. So where do we go from here? Because I've always said this in the very beginning, I'm always a proponent of, I was always a proponent for medicinal use, but I also see the other side in this, and I thought that, and I still think that $100,000, you know, is not going to be sufficient for the funding of this whole process. I think also that it cannot just, the folks from Public Health and Social Services cannot just have collateral duties for some of those, their folks that are there at this point. It has to be its own separate, maybe autonomous division within that agency. So there's going to be a lot of hard work between 9 months. There's going to be money, funding. You know, I'm glad that the Attorney General-elect, she says, hey, I want to be part of this in crafting. Where do we go? You're the legislative side, you're the money side.
Well, the Guam Election Commission, once it gets certified, submits it to the Department of Public Health. The director of the Department of Public Health or his designee will impanel an advisory council, and that advisory council will be members of the medical community, the member at large from the community, the Committee on Health's oversight chair on the Committee of Health or his designee, and the Department of Public Health and Social Services, and the Department of Agriculture. So that's 9 members, because there will be 4 from the medical community, which will be inclusive of oncology, neurology, pain management, and psychiatry. And that's the disciplines in the medical arena for this advisory council.
Now, the impaneling of the advisory council, now the crafter, okay, who would be crafting then the rules and regulations? The panel?
That council will do that, and they will work it through the AAA process, and they will have 9 months to do it. So no sooner than it gets transmitted down to the Department of Public Health, that's when the ball can, it's rolling now, but full work is started once.
So next week certification is going to happen. The 20th is going to happen, and although maybe you have some challenges or maybe some things that may not be certified by the 20th, Prop A or Prop 14A will definitely be certified. So the clock is ticking, really.
Yes,
so
it
you've
is.
got to impanel. I mean, now who chooses this panel, this advisory council? You have the designee, you have the
the Department of Public Health and Social Service. Mr. James Gilliam, as his title today is director. He will facilitate this moving forward. The councils will be chosen from the disciplines that I've mentioned. And the representative at large will come
now,
from
this council?
None of them get confirmed.
No,
it's just a council.
There's a council. They impanel. I mean, they're impaneled. They, I guess, are sworn into that. They meet to put the rules and regulations together, go through the AAA process. Now, after the AAA process, do they still stay in place?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
Yes, they do. They do.
And I think so. What they would identify is all the processes and all the aspects. And I would think, I mean, in listening to a lot of the concerns, perhaps we would end up evolving this advisory board, and maybe we would add some people. For example, the first responders. There's a huge concern about public safety and potential concerns. Maybe we want a representative there to represent those concerns, right? And just the whole commerce side, you know, what does that look like, you know, and just so that it's a complete picture. Right now we're real heavy on what will it do for health issues. What does that look like? What are the types? what kinds will we be distributing and all of that. But there's a bigger picture here. So I'm sure Senator Tina is already thinking about how this is going to evolve, and we'll be taking it from this advisory board. The other thing I think that people need to remember is as we go through the AAA process, Senator, there's lots of public hearings.
Sure.
So there's always
Yeah.
opportunity for anybody who's interested, concerned, or wants to get involved. These meetings will be noticed, and so people are welcome, and you can go and you chime in and raise it as it goes on.
Sure. And my concern is here is because 9 months, 9 months definitely is a long time, but this is something new. 9 months may not have be enough time. What happens? 9 months comes and they're not quite there. So what happens?
Well, unless any legislation is added to extend the time, I think it's really important to know that there are things that don't need to be recreated. You and I know, we all know here that there have been successes in the United States.
Sure.
Over 70% of the United States is addressing this issue right now. And there are many successes that we can probably emulate or template that can we bring it here and then just make the necessary changes to fit what is legal here on Guam today.
Make it Guam style.
And make it, yes.
And I guess one of the things that we need to look at it too, especially when we look at supposedly, when I'm reading on medicinal marijuana, there are different strains for different things. Like
That's
for
right.
example, Charlotte's Web,
Charlotte.
right? An oil base. Medicinal marijuana that Dylan is now being treated for. It's a different strain. Now, from what I've read and what I know in regards to, because marijuana is still a Schedule I drug, okay, that hasn't changed. So we won't be able to import different strains to Guam, okay. So we're going to have to deal with the current strains that we have here, right? I mean, that's where we're at.
That's
Right,
where the rules
and
and
that's really, really exciting
Yeah.
because, and again, as Senator said, we have Department of Agriculture here who would work, I would hope, with UOG and everybody else who has the
expertise.
know-how,
Sure.
the expertise of how to cultivate and grow and just, the quality control issues.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. No, I mean, and just actually, as we were voting on it, we had, I think, 3 other states that were voting on it as well. I think there was only one state that turned it down, and not just to turn it down, but they needed 60%, right?
Right, and
They
they
got
got
58.
yeah.
We almost did it. Florida almost did it.
But if it was a 50% plus 1, they would have
they
agreed.
would've done it.
But they set the threshold at 60%,
Yes.
and that's why they didn't.
there's
It
a
wasn't passed.
constitutional
but-
And that's
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that can also be looked
Sure,
at and,
sure.
and amended for their use, because the majority of the people did support
Sure,
the issue,
sure.
but they have a standard threshold of
Sure,
60%, and that's where it was really hard
And
on them.
imagine almost meeting that threshold.
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
Very
I mean,
close.
Yeah, very, very,
Very
close. So
close.
we're, Anyway, we're going to take a quick break and come back and then talk about, we're just about there, but there's a lot of work needs to be done between now and 9 months from now. Be right back.